We have seen freezing rain, we have seen sleet, we have seen snow across parts of the state as well. Again, the last batch of this winter storm is moving out of the state. We're currently affecting central into northeast Arkansas. We do have a few rain showers across the south where our temperatures have warmed up above freezing. But for the most part, this round is not going to bring much in the way of any additional ice accumulation. Maybe a little bit of small on the trees and power lines and some on the roadways. But for the most part, though, this will be it for this winter storm.
Right. So for those that are wondering, I know the no volume and stuff like that is fixing to turn on here in just a bit. But we're just going over everything right now. It's just a recap. We're not expecting any sort of additional precipitation behind this or anything. As Derek mentioned before, this is the last round for us here in Arkansas. This round is pushing through, and it should be out of here within the next couple of hours here. But right now, the roads are very, very hazardous up here in northern Arkansas, especially up here in northeastern Arkansas at this point here. So we're going to go ahead and track some of this precipitation moving through. We've got some moving through the metro right now, and they're traveling along 67 here, going into the Jonesboro area at this point. And eastern Arkansas, you guys have seen a lot of freezing rain and some sleet this morning here. You've had a lot of power outages over here in eastern Arkansas, so you can't afford any more freezing rain over there at all at this point. But that's what we got going at this time here. But behind all of this, folks, we are in the clear. This is quickly coming to an end for us here in Arkansas. This is now moving into eastern Arkansas, and then it will eventually move out into Tennessee and into the Ohio Valley here.
And the biggest concern now is that as this starts to pull out over the next couple of hours, our skies are clearing across parts of Oklahoma and Kansas and Missouri. What that means for us here in Arkansas, temperatures are still at or below freezing for much of the northern half of the state.
Yep.
And we're currently coming in at 30 here at the weather center and 31 at the airport. Again, as the skies clear out, those temperatures overnight will plummet. You have sleet and snow on the ground in northern Arkansas. You have ice on the ground across much of central into northeast Arkansas. Any moisture on the road is going to refreeze rapidly as the sun goes down overnight. And with those clear skies and light winds and winter precip on the ground, those temperatures will fall rapidly overnight. Would not be shocked to see areas around Fayetteville and Bentonville area get close to the single digits overnight, with the teams across much of central and northern Arkansas. South Arkansas, you will not escape this either, with those lows going down into the low to mid 20s overnight. Now, as we get past this evening and overnight, travel in the morning is still going to be very, very hazardous. But we're going to have a full day of sunshine tomorrow. Everybody should get close to or warm above freezing. Central and south, we will be back in the 40s tomorrow. Northern Arkansas back in the 30s, so we should see a nice thawing as we're heading into Friday, and then of course on into your weekend as well. More on that coming up around 6.
Right. So, as I said before here, and everybody's kind of wondering about temperatures here, this is the 32-degree line that you're looking at here. So, this is why we were telling you guys, kind of pay attention to where your counties are, etc., because when we have these maps out, it'll be a very, very good idea of what we're looking at here. But temperatures along and behind this line are below freezing, okay? So this is where we're seeing the frozen precipitation here. And we were looking at this a couple of days ago. Remember, guidance had us in the upper 30s and low 40s today. So this is another prime reason why we're saying, guys, never trust computer model guidance here. Stick with us. We try to get it down as quickly and as accurately as possible. And we told you guys firsthand that most areas were going to struggle to get above freezing or even touch freezing today. And as Derek mentioned before, we've been hovering right around that 30, 31 degree area for today in much of central and northern Arkansas. Now, southern Arkansas, you did manage to get above freezing for today here, but areas up here in northern and central Arkansas, you did not touch freezing today, and most guidance had this area at 39, 40, even in some cases as high as 45 degrees today, and that just did not happen across the board here. So let's go and talk about the current winter weather alerts that are still on the table at this point here, and it's going to be coming up here shortly here. But there's the current winter weather advisory still in effect across the area. The winter storm warning still in effect across much of the area, but I fully expect this winter storm warning to start getting trimmed from west to east as this event becomes closer to the end here. And this is all going to expire within the next 2 hours at this point here. Go ahead, Derek.
And of course, obviously, you know, we're not expecting any additional high accumulation amounts overnight.
Yeah.
But travel will still remain treacherous across the state. Fully expecting to see a special weather statement issued in place of the warning that will go over travel overnight, especially areas along I-40 and north. It is going to be very, very, very rough going here overnight and into the day on Friday. But the good news is that we're getting rid of the winter PRECIP as it moves out. And as I said last night, I fully expect this to be the final major winter weather event of the season.
Yep.
Could we have a few small events in March? Absolutely, and we see it a lot. But in terms of a widespread winter weather event, I do believe this will be the final one of the season.
Definitely. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting very, very tired of winter weather across the board and the cold air. I am ready for spring. I think we all are at this point here. But as I said before, this is what we got at this time here. If you know anyone that needs these updates, please send them our way at this point here. But the precipitation is coming to an end. We're not expecting any more precipitation during the overnight hours tonight or even in your Friday. But the one thing Derek mentioned before we're going to have to watch out for is the roadways here. And speaking of the roadways, let's go ahead and talk about that at this point here. So this is the current roads, by the way. So you can find this information on iDriveArkansas.com. And most of the roads, especially up here in northeastern Arkansas, are very, very treacherous at this time here. And I'm going to try to pull up some traffic cams up here so we can get a better look on what's going on up here in northeastern Arkansas here. So this is why we're telling you guys right now, you do not need to be traveling up here in northeastern Arkansas. Let's take a look up here. This is right around Walnut Ridge up here in northeastern Arkansas. And look at the roads. Very, very iced over up here in northeastern Arkansas. You can see you got a combo of freezing rain and sleet over the area here. And this is a sight that you want to see, by the way. We don't want anybody on the roadways or anything like that across northeastern Arkansas. And if you have to get out, do what that truck is doing. Take it very easy on the roads and be very, very careful tonight, and especially first thing tomorrow morning, because I know everyone's going to be trying to get back to the grind tomorrow towards the work, in terms of going back to trying to go back to normal tomorrow here. So try to keep it easy on the roadways tomorrow here. Now this is in Jonesboro, Harrisburg Road. It's at 44 up here in Jonesboro, and you can see exactly what we mean. Look at the roads, very, very wet, iced over. They had a combination of sleet and freezing rain in this area here. So a very winter-like scene up here in northeastern Arkansas this afternoon. Be very careful on the roadways, guys. I know everyone still has to go to work, etc. If you got to travel tonight, make it very, very, very carefully, guys. I promise you, they're not going to chew you out if you go slow trying to get to work.
And as we start to lose our radiation from the sun over the next couple of hours, we're going to see these roads freeze right back over again. RDOT's out working, and they have done a phenomenal job once again in clearing everything.
Yep.
But again, where you have seen melting, you will see that refreezing, especially on the bridges and overpasses overnight.
Right. So this is along Interstate 40, by the way, up there towards Russellville. Look at the trees already. You got a significant amount of icing up here in the River Valley region, guys. So this is what we're saying, guys. Be very careful on the roadways. Take it easy on the roadways, guys. Tonight, this event is clearly coming to an end. I saw one question about how does current radar look. If you need that information, rewind the live stream or check out our website. I know I sound like a broken record with this, guys, but it really helps out, because I know everybody's expecting those radar updates on Facebook, but we do have a website that you can go take a look at radar and follow radar along with us here in the Weather Center here. So that's basically what we got at this point in terms of this whole winter weather event. What you got?
And of course, I do want to mention Saturday. I know a lot of folks are wondering about the weather on Saturday. Of course, I will have more coming up in your forecast this evening. But right now, it does look to be mostly a rain event. However, we could see a a few areas of freezing rain and sleet mixed in, especially from the
I'm gonna go ahead and go to it.
the Little Rock area north. But I don't expect this to be near the event, and it won't be near the event that we saw the past couple of days, because this will be a moisture-starved system. So we will see mostly light rain, maybe some light sleet, maybe even a snowflake or two. But I think most of this is going to be more of a sleet and freezing rain mix for most of us Saturday night and into the early day hours on Sunday. Again, not a winter storm, but enough to cause a little bit more of a headache. The good thing is we should be a little bit warmer before this comes in, which should help to alleviate some of the issues that we saw today.
Right, so as Derek said before here, something that we're just going to have to watch as we get towards that Saturday evening, Saturday night time frame. This system is very, very moisture starved, folks. This is not going to be a winter storm or anything like that. It's not going to be a major event Saturday night and Sunday morning. But I wouldn't be shocked if we had like a special weather statement or something like that for this, for the potential freezing drizzle, maybe some freezing rain across eastern Arkansas here. And another thing we're going to have to watch is how cold the temperatures are, how cold the ground temperatures are, because you got to remember, you just got through dealing with an event today. You're talking 48-hour difference, so that's not a lot of time for the ground to kind of moderate in temperature. So we'll just have to watch this closely, guys. But over here in eastern Arkansas, it should be a relatively light event, like he said, and then it should get out of here by the time we get towards sunrise Sunday morning. Yep. We'll have to watch to see what happens in terms of impacts, but right now, not a big system, not a winter storm or an ice storm or anything like that. This is not expected to be a widespread system here in Arkansas here. So if you're just kind of tuning in, as I said before, kind of recapping everything, going over everything at this point. In terms of impacts tonight, I know everybody's asking about the roads are going to refreeze tonight. Yes. This is why we're urging you guys tomorrow morning. Everybody's going to be trying to get back in the grind tomorrow, trying to go back to work, etc. We understand that. But you got to be very careful tomorrow morning, okay? Take it easy on the roadways. Don't go 90 miles per hour trying to get to work, okay? Be very, very, very careful on the roadways tomorrow morning. Most of the roads, especially the main roads, should be relatively okay in terms of travel. Mm-hmm. Be very careful on the roadways. It's the back roads, the roads that don't get treated by RDOT immediately. Those are the roads that we're concerned about, the ones that are sheltered away from most of the radiation, most of the heating. Yep. So that's the ones that you're going to have to watch out for late tonight and in tomorrow. And as Derek said before, by the time we get towards tomorrow afternoon, temperatures should get well above freezing, and we should put this system to rest. And then we should kind of look forward to this coming weekend, this light event. Yep. And then we're going to talk about next week, and I'm going to let you handle that.
I will give you a hint on next week. Of course, we'll have more coming up in the forecast this evening. But if you like spring, weather, you're going to love the forecast coming up, especially if you live in central and south Arkansas for the upcoming week. However, also one issue with getting spring weather in early March, we are keeping our eye on next weekend. Again, it's just beyond the 7-day period, so we're gonna hit it with a grain of salt right now. Yep. But plans are being made just in case. That's all I'm gonna say right now. But again, we are watching next weekend closely. But after we get through the system on Saturday, dry, sunny, and warmer coming up for much of next week.
Yeah, and I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of a hint by next week, because there's gonna be somebody that's out there that's gonna think it's a winter storm. No winter weather. It's not gonna be winter weather for us here in Arkansas. I promise you. But like I said before, Derek's going to have more of that coming up in your forecast right around 6 o'clock this evening here. Another thing about your forecast, it's going to look completely different from what it has been before here, guys. And we can't wait to unveil it to you guys. So just kind of keep that in mind. If you see that tonight, it's going to look really, really different from what we had before here, guys. So I appreciate everybody for being here. We've gained almost, if not over 2,000 followers, if not more, than that over the last 48 to 72 hours. I want to tell you guys, me and Derek both personally, thank you guys so much for being here, okay? We do this not for just the money or the fame or anything like that. We do this out of passion. We do this to keep you guys informed and updated on the latest. I want to say this too, if we didn't get to your question over the last 48, 72 hours, we do apologize. Whenever we're dealing with these big events, it comes with big delays, so we haven't been able to fully get to everybody. Yep. So we'll be able to try to answer a little bit more questions here, but there will be a delay, okay? But this system is coming to an end. We're going to go back to our radar here, because there's some folks that are asking about radar. We're going to go back to it real quickly here, so bear with me for just a bit. Okay, so to kind of reiterate everything, this winter storm warning that's in effect will expire at 6 p.m. This winter weather advisory down here, it will expire at 6 p.m. Okay, so by 6 o'clock, this should be completely over, and we'll be putting this system to bed here. So
and me and him both are ready to put this one to bed.
Definitely.
I will say this: the last two Februaries have brought some really extensive work on our part since back from when we started back in 2014. I think 2015 was the last winter that we really had to this extent. Again, we are definitely ready for spring. I'll tell you that. And I'm one who loves winter and I love cold weather, but I'm ready for spring. I'm ready to put a wrap on this one.
Yeah.
It has been definitely one that has been challenging for the record books. But
definitely.
Once again, just one last look at radar this evening. Again, the last bit of freezing rain and sleet is moving off towards the east and northeast. This should be across the river by 6 or 7 o'clock this evening.
And that's going to take care of your warnings.
And the good thing about it is that the Arctic air, the drier Arctic air is coming in and drying out the atmosphere. And what that means is that even though it may show up on radar, it may not actually be reaching the ground soon. And that's really what we want to see, is to see this start to die out as it pushes east of the area. Again, travel will remain treacherous. I-40 north and of course I-30 west for much of the evening, basically from the Ouachita Mountains to the metro to Memphis and points north. You definitely need to be careful throughout much of the overnight hours and into the morning hours on Friday. As we get into Friday afternoon, we will start to dry out and warm up, and we will start to melt things off and put this thing all the way behind us.
Now, I'm going to try to grab some few questions before we leave out of here, okay? So, Kevin, I know we saw computer model guys. There's another thing that me and Derek both been talking about the last couple of days, is that computer model guys did not handle this system well at all. This is why we tell you guys, whenever we put a forecast out, it's not a model hugger or anything like that. We get straight to the point. We see something that computer model guys doesn't see, we're going to tell you guys about, okay? So this is the reason why we tell you guys all the time. We have to watch it very closely, but the model to take this home is going to be the Canadian. The model that took this home is going to be the Canadian model at this point, okay? Dustin, you made a great comment as well, and that is the one thing that's concerning me about as we get into spring, is this system, had we had the parameters in place, 60s and 70s, etc., and I know we were looking at the Euro last week looking at this system. Had we had that in place, this one would have been a severe weather event for us here in Arkansas. Probably a multi-day severe event here in Arkansas. But we stayed on the cold side, but we did have the freezing rain and the sleet here in Arkansas. So one more thing I want to address is the power outages, because I know there's everybody asking about power outages as well.
I think we peaked at about 38,000 today.
Yeah,
and most of those were across the eastern parts of the state.
We're still at 31,000.
Yep. So most of them peaked around the areas around the Memphis area, over towards Jonesboro area, Blytheville, over towards Brinkley, and then of course up there around the Russellville area as well.
Yep.
So once again, that's, fortunately, for those of us in the Little Rock metro area, we lucked out. It went to our north and went to our south. The heaviest, we got ice, and we got plenty of it. But the heaviest went to the north-south and split kind of the city in half. Again, just to our north of Conway, they had a lot of sleet, just 2 to 3 inches of sleet. If you go to our east, they had upwards of almost an inch of ice, with power poles coming down across parts of the eastern delta. So again, for those of you saying, well, I'm mad I didn't get ice, I'm like, I don't know why you be mad about it, because we have 31,000 of our fellow Arkansans in the dark, with it going to be a very cold night ahead.
Yep.
So in my mind, if there's ever a forecast that I would like to see bust, is an ice storm, because it is one thing that provides a headache for many involved. And the second one I would always love to see bust is a tornado outbreak. But
exactly. So that's what we tell you guys all the time. Fortunately, we haven't had a lot of that here in Arkansas Widow Watchers, but we've been seeing that across the board. Like everybody across the board has been dealing with this. So if you're gonna get mad about ice, folks, just keep it to yourself, okay? And there's no reason for that and all that. You shouldn't be getting mad about ice, okay? And I tell you, like they just mentioned, I take a cold rain or nothing at all, or sleet and snow versus freezing rain, because freezing rain does this. You got 31,000 people without power right now, and I'm pretty sure the ones that are out of power doesn't want the freezing rain. They don't want the ice because it does that. So just keep that in mind here, guys. And our hearts go out to the ones that are working on this as well. The energy crews out there. You know, they're putting their lives on the line trying to get out there. You know, the grocery store workers too. You guys been dealing with this over the last 24 to 48 hours. Everybody that's having to get out into this and still continue to grind. We really do appreciate you guys for being out there and keeping that grind going across the area here. But I think that's all we got.
That's all we got.
I don't have anything else. We got a forecast coming up at 6 o'clock. Well, he has.
Yeah, but I have more coming up in the forecast around 6. It'll be a fully updated outlook going over everything you need to know to plan your weekend and the week ahead. Sunny, warmer is going to be the story coming up for the week ahead. But we thank you for joining us. We thank you for trusting us with this latest winter weather event, and we'll be here once again whenever severe weather strikes Arkansas on your source for all things Arkansas weather.